Hey everyone, this is Pete, and welcome back to Atari ST A to Z, a series of short playthroughs of Atari ST games, some which I grew up with and some which are new to me. Today is one of the former. Today we're looking at Paperboy, which was originally a 1985 arcade release by Atari Games and ported to a wide variety of systems starting in the following year. The Atari ST version, which we're concerned with today, was developed by Elite, and it didn't show up until October of 1989 alongside a PC version, with an Amiga version following later that month. The ST version was praised on its original release, with both Advanced Computer Entertainment, or ACE magazine, and Zero noting its similarity to the arcade version. But some later reviews on budget re-releases of the game noted that the very late release of this conversion meant that the gameplay felt rather outdated and repetitive in comparison to other games available for 16-bit platforms at the time. But how well does it hold up today? Let's go play Paperboy.
Okay, here we are with Paperboy, originally from Atari Games and ported to the Atari ST by Elite. The audio designed by M. Cooksey and coding by A. Williams. Not sure offhand who those people are or what else they did, but Elite were fairly prolific, so chances are they did some other stuff, probably some other arcade conversions. Alright, I've never been very good at Paperboy, so let's play on Easy Street, and I will probably mess that up completely. So let's have a go. Monday! So, if you have never encountered Paperboy before, this is a classic arcade game from Atari Games. So, sort of the later era of Atari arcade games from when they weren't really Atari anymore. In fact, they're typically regarded as part of Midway these days. Although I think they've almost certainly changed hands again since then. But yeah, your goal in this game is to ride your bicycle and deliver papers to your subscribers' houses while fucking up your non-subscribers' houses. Whoops. And you'll notice all your non-subscribers' houses, they have sort of scary gothic houses because they're evil and wrong. All these sort of formidable grey fortress type houses. And along the way you will need to avoid various obstacles and try not to smash up your subscribers' houses, because that will cause them to not be subscribers anymore, and no one wants that. But you'll run across various other characters along the way too, who will mostly get in your way. Excuse my phone. And so you can chuck a paper to... Well, in a lot of cases you can chuck a paper to kind of get them out of the way, but in the case of things like that lawnmower there, you just have to try and avoid it. You see, you've got basically 3 different speeds you can move at that you control by, in this case, pushing up and down on the joystick. The original arcade game actually had a handlebar controller. That was really cool. I believe it was a repurposed yoke from the Star Wars arcade game. I think I remember reading that somewhere. Oh no. Yeah, this is one of those games that back in the day I was aware of the fact that there was an arcade version, but I was always much more familiar with this Atari ST version. Because I believe we had a review copy of it. As I've mentioned numerous times on this series before, my brother reviewed a lot of games for Page 6 magazine. And that meant we got a lot of freebies. We're going to run out of time. Yeah, so you'll notice that as we go through the levels, you will build up a bonus according to the obstacles that you've smashed, or the characters that you've thwarted along the way. So like that guy's a burglar, I think. Whoops. So you get bonus points for sort of stopping fights and that sort of thing as well. Alright, okay. Let's try it again. I'm getting a feel for this again now. This is one of many games from back in the day whose music has been stuck in my head for... Oh no! Has been stuck in my head for somewhere in the region of 30 years at this point. Oops! Come on, zoom zoom. It's a game that takes a fair amount of getting used to be sure. And it's tricky and it's difficult. Those are the same thing. But still. It's a game that's got a undoubtedly addictive quality to it. And Atari Games, as they were at this point, they put out some really great games during this particular period. But as I say, because of the fact that a lot of these arcade conversions made it to the Atari ST very late, I often wasn't super aware of these games until well after they'd been released. Simply because we didn't have any arcades near us. That's part of sort of gaming culture here in the UK that I've mentioned before, is that unlike in the States, arcades here in the UK just have never really been a huge thing. They exist, but they usually found sorry, I'm concentrating. They're usually found at the seaside, or in rare cases you might find places like Sega World in a few town centres. Not anymore, sadly. But for a time, Sega had quite a decent presence in some towns. Like the town where I live and where I went to university, Southampton, we had a Sega World. A small one, admittedly, but still a Sega World in one of our shopping centres. The best one in the UK was in this place in London called the Trocadero, which was in Piccadilly Circus. And I can't even remember what the Trocadero actually was, whether it was a shopping centre or something along those lines. It was like a big entertainment complex, I guess you'd call it. And like for a significant period, Sega World was one of the main attractions there, and they had all sorts of really awesome arcade game stuff there. So they had things like the R360 version of G-Lock, which was the cabinet you strapped in and you could go upside down in it. And they had things like the Ridge Racer, where you sat inside a full-size car and played on basically a cinema screen in front of you while it was blowing air in your face from fans. And the car had working dashboard gauges and stuff. And so yeah, when we did arcades over here, we did them properly. It's just there weren't very many of them. So that meant that a lot of sort of established arcade classics from the early to mid 80s, I didn't discover it until they got home ports much later. Particularly because I also didn't get into console gaming until quite late as well. We were very much a home computer household for a long time, and I seem to remember my parents taking a fair amount of convincing to get me a Super NES one Christmas. They eventually relented though, And I've never really looked back since. Right, let's see if we can do this time. I guess you've just got to go full speed all the way if you want to actually make it. Because there doesn't appear to be a way to actually replenish your time. Oh, I made it, just. I love you, Paperboy! Alright, on to Wednesday. I really like the gradual evolution of the levels in this. Because each day you face basically the same obstacles with a few extras peppered around the place as well. Whoops. And so you need not only to remember the stuff that you've avoided before. Whoops. Not only the stuff that you avoided before, but also watching out for new stuff as well. And you also have to bear in mind that any houses you've missed on previous days will have turned into the evil houses as well. So, and the evil houses are more likely to have nasty obstacles outside them. So, be ready for that. Ah, many tires. Car. There's a car. Oh, too fast. I remember having real trouble actually timing throwing the paper to get it in the letterbox when I was a kid. And to be fair, it's not easy, but it's easier than I remember it being. I'm not what I would call a particularly coordinated individual these days, but I guess I have improved over the years. Whoopsie daisy. The collision detection is actually fairly forgiving as well. Oh god, that's mean. You see, if you crash as part of the obstacle course there, you just completely miss out on the bonus points altogether. Oh dear, what a mess I'm making of this job. Get out of here, boy. No! Did that last time. That's it. Alright. Let's have a go at middle road. Oops. It all starts off fairly familiarly. But you'll see there's a lot more obstacles right from the get-go. And that still gets me every time. No, dog, don't do it, dog. Oh! Those tires. They will forever be my undoing. Aha! Oh, there's a burglar. Sometimes you see him actually in the process of breaking into someone's house. You get even more bonus points if you can actually sort of catch him in the act, as it were. Oh god. And I've been crashing a fair amount, but I haven't been doing as bad on this level as I was expecting to. Yeah, oops. Sorry. Should have been expecting that, shouldn't I? Never mind. Right, Tuesday. Uh-oh. Who would put a gate there? Probably someone... Every time. Probably someone who didn't want a little lout on a bicycle with a backwards baseball cap throwing papers through their window. Alright, not bad. Let's go for hard way with triple points. Good start. Lawnmower moving a little bit more erratically this time. Ouch. I avoided it! But then I crashed into the body of the road worker. Oh god, I can't hit anything. But that's much harder. I'm going to go back to Easy Street, and then we'll call this the last one for today. It's been fun to return to. I did always like this game back in the day. It's one of those games that, like back when we were playing it on the Atari ST, you could tell that it was a little bit dated, but it was one of those games that was just enjoyable to fire up and have a bit of fun with. Like, you didn't have to think about it too hard. You didn't need to read a huge manual to understand it. As the ST era was the start of where we were getting really, really complex games that you really needed to actually read the manual for, when we were starting to get... I guess we had a few role-playing games and stuff and simulations on the Atari 8-bit, but the ST is always when I really associate getting more complex games. And I think that's where some of the criticism of this version of the game came from when it first came out. There was this sort of assumption that gaming should be more than just arcade games. When in fact that's not really an accurate way of looking at it. Because gaming can be more than arcade games, but it doesn't have to be more than arcade games. That's the key difference there. And I think that's an important distinction that some people still fail to make today, to be honest. It's like you'll see some people talk about a particular game and they'll say things like, "We should do better, we can do better." I'm like, well, yeah, maybe we can do better, but I don't know that should is definitely the right way of looking at it. Oh, just missed. Because there's a time and a place for arcade games. There's a time and a place for action you don't have to think about too much. Just like in any other medium, there's a place for blockbusters and bestsellers, and there's a place for high art and literature and everything in between. There's absolutely no shame in enjoying something that is just a bit of fun. And that is exactly what we have here. In terms of arcade ports, could the ST do better? Maybe. Maybe the scrolling could be a bit smoother. Maybe the music could be a bit better. Maybe the sound effects could be a bit better. But you know, it does the job. It's perfectly competent. It's recognisable as Paperboy, both from a presentational and mechanical perspective. Oops. And back then, that was all that was important, to be perfectly honest. As long as it looked a bit like the arcade game and provided an experience vaguely similar to what you had in the arcades, that was usually enough. Are we done? Oh, oh no! Oh. We'd have to die right as we arrived at the obstacle course. Right, come on. Let's... Dog! Actually kept a decent amount of subscribers this time. An improvement on that first attempt anyway. And I avoided that car tyre. So that's a nice change. Probably not going to beat that high score though. Especially because we haven't made it through the obstacle course once on this run. Oh no! It's all over. Oh, wasn't that far behind though. Not that far behind. If we'd made it through the obstacle course once, we probably would have matched or exceeded that high score. Anyway, that is Paperboy for Atari ST, a game I enjoyed playing back in the day, and yeah, it's a pretty solid port of that, I'd say. Good fun, good fun. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.